Hey everyone, welcome to the workshop. Welcome to module zero of Omega Project. Thank you so much for taking the leap of faith and jumping in here with us. I really mean what we've been saying over the past few days. I feel like this is our masterpiece. This is something that we have worked incredibly hard to sort of build from the ground up, starting with a completely clean slate. And we've taken an approach that we've never ever taken before, which is all going to sort of become apparent in the days and weeks ahead. And we've done that because, every year we sort of try to look at where we've been and where we want to get to, the challenges we've had, the challenges our different students have had in programs, and figure out what is the path of least resistance. What is the simplest way that someone today could build a brand new online income stream from scratch? And then based on that, we set about figuring that out. That's ultimately what the Omega Project has become. It's not something that we've put together overnight. It's been at least 12 months in the making, building upon things that we've been doing for over 15 years. We've created some technology that simply wouldn't have been possible to create even just 6 months ago. I'm sure everyone here is aware of how quickly the world is evolving with the arrival of AI technology. And we finally figured out ways that we can use it to solve some problems that have been pretty big problems, actually, for people building online businesses in the past. So
Yep.
again, thank you. We are thrilled to have you with us, and we just cannot wait to let you loose with all of this. And we're going to be doing that and explaining how we're going to be doing that over this workshop here today. Steve, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Yeah,
Some
hi.
faces.
I just to echo, what Aiden said. I think, we take very seriously, you guys putting your trust in us, and not just us, but in our whole team, and we'll get to the team shortly, that's going to be working with you. But we just I want to make sure that you understand that we take that very seriously, and we're going to take care of you. So it's going to
Yep.
be fun.
And everything that we've put together here is, we've designed it for you, for people who want to get ahead and use the very best strategies and tactics that are out there. It's all designed for you to make sure that that is just as streamlined, as simple as humanly possible. So this is the early bird training workshop for Omega Project, and I'll explain what that means. So currently, right now, you're on the inside, which is great news. Some people are still able to join. We will be shutting down very soon here when we hit capacity. And we have no plans at all to open up the Omega Project again. Typically, what we do is we do an intake of people into our course, and then we close down and we work with those people. We focus on helping those people throughout the year and on building our own business. So we're in the trenches actually
Yep.
doing this stuff. So again, you have got in this little window of opportunity that's been opened, which is great. A few more people will come in, and then we'll be just straight down to business. And the doors will be closed, and a lot of people will real deal miss out. Every year we see it. They send us in
Yep.
tickets and
Every
they say,
year.
"Hey, I was away. Can I get in?" And unfortunately, the answer is always no because we go through this as a group. So by being here now that you are an early adopter, there will be bonuses and other surprises that you will get because of that.
Yep.
And like I say, we're just excited, to have you here and to be able to get started. Um, do you want to go through these first few slides here,
Yeah.
Steve, and then maybe
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
over after that.
I just think it's really important to start with a foundation, and just basically, I'm a big believer. We talk about it all the time. Well, what does finished look like? What so that we can all be on the same sheet of music. And it's a pretty, it's a lofty but attainable goal for us. But we would like every single one of you to build a successful, stable, and life-changing online business. And that's a tall order to make sure that that everyone does it, because sometimes we're fighting against procrastination and all sorts of other stuff, and we'll talk about that because it does require you to take action as well. But at the end of the day, I think it's important for everybody to understand this is what finished looks like for us. And then actually to take that to the next level and scale it and keep learning right along with you, and expanding and evolving. So, and if you want to go to the next one there. So one thing I like to use this analogy, when you buy a toaster, it's pretty clear, right? You take it out of the box, you plug it in, you know exactly how it's going to work. At least I hope so. Most of you have seen a toaster. You put the bread in there and it toasts. But you didn't buy a toaster here. This is a little bit more. I don't know. It's got a lot more variables attached to it, and so while the outcome we're all confident about, the journey sometimes is a little bit kind of, you hit a problem. You don't. This is what most people think about. Like, oh, I'll build a business and this is exactly what it'll look like. It'll just take me a little time and I'll, have that easy slope to making the money that I want to make and the freedoms and building the business and so on. But in reality, it almost always looks more like this, where you've got a high, a low, a high, a low, a high, a low, a high, a low. But all along, you can see the slope of the curve is moving you along, where you want to end up being and where we want everybody to be, right? So I just want everybody to just keep that in mind, because I think it's really, really important to have that perspective. We're all going to get there as long as you work with us, and put in, do what we tell you to do and work with us and work our plan and use our tools and use our resources. You will get to where we all want you to be and where you want to be. It's just, you might have these little ups and downs too. So
yeah. One thing about the ups and downs, and one of the reasons why the Omega project business model as it is because we wanted to remove the reliance on like Big Brother type companies as much as we could. So we love Amazon. We've sold on Amazon a ton. But we also know that Amazon can be a pain in the butt to deal with, and they're forever increasing their fees. So we keep selling on Amazon. But if I was someone today starting from scratch and I could do that without needing to rely on Amazon, without having to navigate, for example, Facebook ads, which can be an absolute minefield for getting accounts shut down and this, that, and the other. It would be better if I could avoid all of those headaches. And that's exactly why, one of the reasons why we've taken Omega Project in the direction that we've come with it. You're going to own an asset that you can control, and you're going to have a smorgasbord of opportunities with regards to how to monetize it, with regards to the traffic that you get from it, the products that you can sell. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of products, basically an unlimited number of products that you can actually use to monetize this. And we'll get into all of those details here shortly. This was important to us, though. You guys have jumped in early as early birds members, and we want to make sure that doesn't give you any disadvantage whatsoever. In fact, quite the opposite. We want to make sure that it gives you an advantage. And so with that in mind, we've spoken about our 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee that we stand by, that is there to give you peace of mind so that you can test this out for yourself. And those 30 days, the clock on those 30 days is not going to start ticking until Friday the 31st of January. So that hasn't even started yet. Even though you've made your investment, we don't take it from the time of the investment, we take it from this moment here. Because we want to give you everything we can, and we want to make sure that, from when module 1 starts, at that point, the clock is going to start ticking. I'll tell you what, 30 days is plenty of time to really sink your teeth into this and to get some real tangible results. Okay, so
yes,
hopefully you can see why that's a benefit to you and why we've done it. And I'll just to go completely off script now, one thing that I think is an annoying trend these days is most courses out there don't even offer a refund period. And I think it's wrong on so many levels because you know, you should be able to come in and test something out for yourself. So even though most other people are not even doing this anymore, or if they do it, they put all kinds of like, requirements and so on and so forth. We're doing it in the way that we've always done it, which is to give you a complete, no questions asked, money back guarantee, and we'll stand by that. Absolutely. So we wanted to make that clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Steve, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. And it's funny that we talked about that. We had a couple of people before you put that slide up about the guarantee start to say, "Hey, wait a minute! if we're waiting for the rest of the group, that kind of thing." So anyway, hopefully that makes everybody feel okay. So what do we want to do today? We wanted to bring you up to date on what's happening. Just like kind of how we approach this. We wanted to, look, this is a big investment, and like we get it, and I think that it's important that everybody, get some reinforcements that, hey, I made the right decision. I think that's really, really important. People are watching their pennies and are trying to make sure that, when they invest in something that it's a wise investment. And I just think everybody's well-being is also important part of what we're trying to get to here. So it's a big investment. We get it. We're here to make sure that you understand that you've made an incredibly wise decision. We're here for you, and we're going to push to make sure that you succeed. We also wanted to kind of along with that, right, is to sort of start to develop this teamwork and sense of community and all that sort of stuff. Because and that's hard, to foster and to make and to leverage. But I think we've got a lot of experience. We've been doing this for a long, long time, and we learn something every single year that we do something, that we do a course. And then we apply that. So, I think that the teamwork and sense of community is really, really important. I think it's also really important to have context around all the things that we're doing. Make sure that we address your initial concerns, like the refund period and all that kind of stuff, and give you a high level overview of what we're building as we celebrate you as an early adopter here and get started on all these things that are really all going to help us meet our goals, right?
Yeah. Something else that I've just taken for granted here that I've seen comments about. Many of you have seen me on the workshops, but some of you have not seen
I
Steve.
just saw
So
that come.
who is Steve? So Steve and I have been partners for a long, long time now. In fact, I really made my first big breakthrough online going through one of Steve's programs in the early 2000s, so almost 20 years ago. So I want to say that I met Steve, sort of met Steve virtually about 17 years ago. And for well over a decade now, we've been working together. And we've sort of taken a tag team approach with a lot of what we've done,
Yep.
where he's focused on one area of it, I've focused on something else. And that's worked incredibly well for us. And I'm going to talk about the team a little bit as we go through here, but just so you know, I should have
We should have
explained that
done that.
earlier.
I
The thing
apologize.
is, though, we've been so used to just doing these things that we take it for granted. So
Yeah.
there's no dumb questions here. If anyone wants to know, who's that Steve guy, who's this, who's that, we will happily take those. So thanks for that. Is Tim still around? Tim, for those of you who've been with us for many years, may have heard about Tim. Tim is indeed still around, but he's even more behind the scenes, and he
He sure
handles a lot
is.
of the different bits and pieces. And once in a while, you'll be able to spot him in a photo
Oh,
if you're watching carefully. But
that's
anyway,
a rare
anything I've missed?
opportunity.
Anything I've missed there about that little intro about you, Steve?
No, but I think it does bring up an important point that, the three of us have been partners for a very, very, very long time. And I think that that's really important. Because I think at the end of the day, it results in a better experience for all of you guys. Just because, we're kind of a finely tuned machine. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, few more facts here. This is a journey that we're going to be going on together. We're going to be, helping you every step of the way. And when I say we, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about Steve. I'm talking about Tim behind the scenes. I'm talking about our head coach, who you're going to hear from in a moment, and more than a dozen other people who we're gonna introduce you to here shortly. Now, based on past experience, I'm pretty sure that sometimes you might get impatient. But there's a method to the madness here. There's a reason why we do it in a step by step by step by step approach. Ultimately, our objective is to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to give you the highest chances possible of succeeding. And whenever we're making a decision about when to release something, we always come back to that and we say, is it better for someone who's just starting this, who wants to build a brand new income stream? Is it better for them to do this now? Or is it better for them to do this other thing now? And
right.
we work out, everything based on that, which, by the way, is all based on a couple of decades at this point of experience and millions, actually over 100 million, well over $100 million in sales. And so anyway, it's just a bit of a backstory. So, when you get impatient, just bear with us, have faith in us, because it is designed in a way that is hopefully going to get you, to the getting results as fast as humanly possible. Everyone always wants to go faster though, but this is slow and steady is the best approach. That's how you're going to win the race, and you will indeed be able to move quickly. I mean, relative to pretty much anything else out there. I mean, the fact that this is something that you own, you don't need approval from Amazon. We're not doing anything with Amazon. I mean, that in itself is a big deal. And Amazon's just one example. There are many other examples there as well. So I think we've got power in the group, and we've got a proven process, and just trust us to deliver on it. And we're going to be here every step of the way. You can absolutely go at your own pace. In fact, I encourage you to do it. But if you do want to, go to a fast clip, you're going to be able to do that as well. So anything I've missed there, Steve?
Just the only thing I would say is starting on, I believe it's February. I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but I think it's February 12th is module 3. And after module 3, starting then, there will be an opportunity for people to go very fast after that. So anyway, that'll be apparent once we get there. But February 12th, or is it the 11th or the 12th? I can't remember. But anyway, either way, not that far away. So stand by.
Couple of weeks from now, you'll have the foundation laid. And once you've got that foundation laid, I mean, you can put your foot on the gas and go for it if you want to. But we do need to just do the first couple of things in sequence. Otherwise, it won't be as streamlined. Tell us, what is the squirrel chaser, Steve?
So, this is like my dog. You take the dog for a walk, and all of a sudden, it'll be very intent on the walking, and then all of a sudden, look, a squirrel. And so, people just get distracted. I think they have the best intentions. They sort of say, okay, I'm gonna work the plan. I'm gonna go down the list of all the things I need to do. But if you're a squirrel chaser, you're easily distracted, from that mission. And so, and this is human nature, by the way. We all do some of this. It's just that some of us chase more squirrels than others, and we're all doubters, and we're all ripcord pullers, and that kind of stuff. But these are 3 things that I think, or behaviors or feelings or whatever, that I would strongly encourage you to sort of be introspective about and be on the lookout for. And so, getting distracted is definitely a big one. The people that I call like the doubters, I'll give you the one example. I remember, and I've used this example before, but I remember teaching ecom many, many years ago. probably 15 years ago, 2010. And we were setting up stores and we were setting up a phone number, and I got people saying, well, wait a minute, you mean I have to talk to someone if they call? And I'm like, well, I, for crying out loud, you want to start a real business here. I mean, like, don't just always be looking for all these reasons why they won't work. Like, so for example, if you're not available to get the phone, just have a voicemail on there and people can leave a voicemail and then you can get back to them or something. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Now, obviously now there are solutions to that problem with bots and chat. So, but it's just the point I'm trying to make is there are people who are they're just always looking for reasons why things won't work, as opposed to sort of always looking for reasons why they will work, like the glass is half empty or the glass is half full. So, that's something to really guard against. Obviously, there are sometimes real problems that have to be overcome. Nobody's saying that. And you can't overcome all problems by simply having rose-colored glasses. But it is helpful to have the right attitude towards, solving problems and seeing challenges in front of you. So don't be that person that's always looking for the things that won't work. And it's a similar sort of person for the ripcord puller, somebody who's always got one foot out the door, as opposed to just being all in. I mean, it's fine to be careful and aware of your investments and to protect them, of course. And it's okay to be careful with who you trust, but just give it a give it a break if you find yourself being one of these three folks. Okay. So
Next thing to quickly go over here is just where to get support. So hopefully you've been into the members area by now. And if you haven't, then you should go in there and have a look around. And we've got multiple different links to support. You can see it in the top right. You can see it in the left-hand menu. You can see it on the right-hand side there. And any one of these avenues will ultimately get you to support. We like to run things through a support desk. And we do this because then it allows us to have a back and forth chain of messages with you that you can actually log into and see anytime you want to. So, over the years, we've seen a lot of people, won't find an email, for example. Well, that'll never happen here because you can actually log into the support portal and see all the messages anytime you want. And the link to go to the support desk is inside the members area here. And just so you know, you can always reach out to us anytime by sending an email to support@omegaproject.com. Okay. But using the support desk, again, really simple. You go to the links that are in the members area. You're going to open it up. You click on the Contact Us section there. You can select Omega Project from the drop-down menu, and that will channel it through to the right place. Please only submit one ticket per issue, because if you keep submitting others, it doesn't actually make them go up to the top. It just makes them get bogged down even more, essentially. And saying that, we do have an incredible team and incredible processes in place, and we're going to make sure that we're looking after you for any questions that you've got in a timely manner. Okay. Okay, let's see. Sometimes, by the way, if when you're getting into setting your system up, there might be something that's easier to explain with a little video or a little image.
Yeah.
You can send those through to us. Sometimes we will reply with a video of our own. So it's very, very personalized support. And we take a lot of pride in being able to do that as well. So don't be surprised if one day we reply to a question that you might have with an actual video.
Yep.
Sometimes Steve and I do that, but we've also got incredible team of coaches who are really good there as well. And we're lucky that Steve and I, but also the members of Omega Project, I think, are lucky because we do have a team of great support team. These are people who are not a call center. These are people who are actually out there building their own businesses, and many of them work with us here as well. And they are seasoned professionals at this point. They are all entrepreneurs running their own business. Many of them actually came through our programs, and that's how we got to know them. And then they wanted to get involved with support, and they joined the team.
I think almost all of them at this point, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they give up their time, and they help out here, and they're fantastic. So you're going to get to interact with them firsthand, and I hope that you'll see that for yourself, and maybe in the future you would even like to become part of the support team. And we're always looking for new people who want to join the team. So anyway, something there. And these are some of the faces. This is not a full list, but these are some of the faces of some of the people in the support team. We've got people all over the world, in Australia, the UK. We've got obviously in the United States, Canada, have someone in Mexico, different parts of South America, New Zealand. We've got people all over, and this is not by accident either. We want this business to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and by having an all-star team all around the globe, it means that we can do it. So if it's the middle of the night for someone, it's the middle of the morning for someone else, and we've always got someone to be able to look after you. And as I've said, these people are not part of a call center. These are people who have been involved with us for a long time, actually running their own businesses. They know a lot about this, and they're there on the front lines to help. In addition, of course, to Steve, to me, and our head coach, who I'll share with you in just a moment. Anything else about support there, Steve?
No, just there are a lot of people that are saying they've already been helped by support, and mentioning individual people, Rob, German, and Melissa, actually. But those are the three that have been called out individually. But there've been some other folks. Yeah, these are real people, real pictures of those people. So.
Yeah.
Mario. Somebody's yelling Mario.
Yeah, if you've been with us in the past, you already know a lot of these people. So
yeah, they're good folks.
So bonuses. Many of you have probably qualified for different bonuses that may or may not be related to us specifically. Many of you have been recommended the Omega Project by some of our friends and people who know us, and for the most part, they will deliver any bonuses that they may have offered. If we've offered any, they're going to get delivered by us, and you'll be reached. We'll reach you specifically about them. Nothing to worry about. Just be patient. Anything that's been promised will be delivered. And if you don't know about any bonuses, then you're probably going to get a good surprise, because you're probably going to find that you've got some that you didn't even know about. We'll keep you up to date on that. So who's who? This is maybe the slide we should have had right at the beginning, so we could have just said at the get-go that Steve is the brawn and I'm the beauty.
I don't know how I got to be the brawn. I used to be the beauty, but I guess I'm old now, so that's it.
That's all that muscle, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Look, as I mentioned, there's a whole group of people behind the system here. Vaughan is someone who came in with a program of ours 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 or 6 years ago at this point. Yeah. And he has gone from someone who knew absolutely nothing about building an online business to running a business that has done millions and millions and millions of dollars. He absolutely crushes it online. And the most interesting thing about Vaughan is he does it in his spare time. So he likes his day job. He goes to his day job, and then on the side, he's got this thing that makes him hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he really enjoys it. And he's been amazing to work with. He is such a knowledgeable guy, from being in the trenches, persevering, overcoming lots of different headaches to build this incredible business. So we asked Vaughan to come and help us as our head coach here. So Vaughan, you'll see in a lot of the videos. I'll be doing a lot of the videos as well. In fact, if you've been in the members area, you would have already seen a few sort of overview videos. But when we get into the real nitty gritty, the gory details of a lot of this, Vaughan is going to be doing over the shoulder videos, and Vaughan is fantastic. Really nice guy. He's actually from New Zealand, which explains a lot. Shifted to Australia. He lives in Australia nowadays, in Sydney, Australia. And like I say, just just huge amount of experience, and you're gonna love working with Vaughan. And I think Steve and I have already done sort of our intros there.
Yeah.
And we'll leave you to decide, who's the beauty and who's the brawn. But Vaughan is definitely the brain. We can agree on that much, I think. So anyway. So Vaughan, a bit more about him. IT background, loads of experience online with different types of traffic, with different business models, affiliate marketing, e-commerce, and he'll share more about his story. But he sort of he was at the point of where he was ready to give up, and his son came to him and said, "Oh, what are you doing, Dad?" And he said, "Oh, I'm trying to sell these physical products online." And his son, who must have been about 7 years at the time, said, "Oh, can I help?" And Vaughan said, "Oh, okay." Vaughan was a little bit demoralized at the time. It was in that period of just getting things going, and it was a bit of a struggle. And he said, "Sure." And so his son picked a product, and Vaughan got it up. And the next day, that product sold a couple of $100. And Vaughan was like, "Holy crap. My son just chose a product at random, got it up, and we made some money from it." And then that was a tipping point for Vaughan. And this is going back 4 or 5 years ago, as a result of coming through one of our earlier programs. In fact, for those of you who have been with us for some time, Vaughan was a founding member of the Kibo Code. If you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. But it was another e-commerce training program that we've had. And he's gone on, from strength to strength. So take it from me. You need to listen to what Vaughan says. He's a wealth of knowledge, and you'll be hearing from him in most of the weekly webinars and most of the office hours and many of the videos as well. So the way the training will work is going to be a mixture of live workshops on a weekly basis, supplementary videos. So we do it in a module by module approach, and one module might have 5 videos, the next might have 13 videos. It just depends on how many they need. We do PDFs. Sometimes we do visual sort of mind maps. It all depends on where we are in the training. We do give you action items for each week. These are your homework tasks. But of course, you can go at your own pace. I saw someone mention a few moments ago that they're going to be away for the next 6 weeks. Doesn't matter. Absolutely fine. When you come back from, whatever you're doing over the next 6 weeks, then you can just pick up, module 1 and charge forward. We do have a curriculum all mapped out. We've got, a lot of content prepared for you, but we typically, change things, as needed, because maybe we find out
all the time
you guys are accelerating and pushing forward at a fast clip, and we need to, bring something forward. Or maybe we find out that we need to give a little bit more explanation about one little thing. So we adjust. It's very dynamic in that regard. What else could we say there, Steve?
No, I think we always do that. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it will happen. It's kind of like a battle plan. It never survives the first shot. So, we've got the whole thing mapped out, and probably right after module 1, we're going to be like, we should change that because we get some feedback on that. And keep in mind, we've not, all our courses, they're mostly, they're new, and it's always a new group, so it's not like we've given this to an audience before. So that's great, because obviously you're special, you're getting that information and that intellectual property, and it's fine, because we'll just simply adjust, if we didn't make the right decisions up front, as far as what should be when and what level of detail we went in here, and do we need to do a little bit more here, that kind of thing. It'll all be based on your feedback.
Yeah. And absolutely everything that we do is put into the members area. So everything is recorded. Everything's in the members area, and so you can watch it and consume it at any given point in time. We do something called Genius Sessions as well, and we do between 2 to 3 of these per week. These are optional to attend, but this is, imagine we jump on a call with us, and it might run for 45 minutes, and we'll just go live. We'll be sharing our desktop. We'll be giving real examples. We'll be doing Q&A. And it's just a great additional sort of touch point to so you can keep your finger on the pulse, you can stay motivated. And all of these are also added to the members area as well in the past. And sometimes we refer to them as office hours, kind of the same thing. And
Yep.
we're going to be starting the first one on Monday, the 3rd of February. And we'll move on. We'll then move up to 2 per week, and sometimes we'll do 3 per week. And you'll always be able to find out when
Yeah.
these are inside the members area.
I think these are really key because if you ever feel you're stuck on something, you're only like, of course you can use support and that's fine. And you should do that, but you're only ever a day away or 2 days away, from being able to get on, it's already a small group. It'll be an even smaller group at each of the office hours because, usually it's people who, want to get clarification on something or have a problem that week or something, so it'll be an even smaller group. And there'll be a lot more interactivity and things like that. So we find that these are incredibly key to just have in your back pocket for when you need them, essentially, and to keep you on task and to keep you taking action and to keep moving the ball and get you to finish.
Yeah, yeah. You can always find in the members area the upcoming training events. So it's easy to get lost thinking, oh, I've got one live webinar a week and I've got an office hours and this, that, and the other. But inside the members area, you will find on the left-hand menu the schedule, and you'll be able to sign up for things. Normally, we schedule things like a week or 2 in advance, so you've got an opportunity to sign up.
Right.
And so that's how that works.
And we do vary these times and days even and stuff like that. So you'll see we'll do that. And then if we get feedback that it's like, oh, hey, could you do something on a Thursday afternoon? And that's fine. We'll do, then we'll change some things around. So just FYI.
Yep. So let's get into now. I know that you have an idea of what the model is, but I think we can recap on that. What we're ultimately doing is we are finding amazing opportunities using Vulcan technology, and I'll actually go over and have a look at Vulcan in a moment. And we can then quickly and easily identify a best-selling product and a supplier for that product, or a product that's similar to it. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't matter, actually. And then we can load them into our shop. And in your shop, you could have 100 different products and completely unrelated to one another. That's the way we do it. We then use shopping platforms, Google Merchant Center, to advertise the products, and not just Google. We use Microsoft and we use others as well. But again, we are trying to take that path of least resistance. We make sales. Shopify will then push an alert. We get money from the sale, and we get that money and we can pay the supplier, and you pocket the difference. So you're never out of pocket there. Anything you want to elaborate on this, Steve? I do have an example I could go over to in a little bit.
No, I think that was it. Yep.
Yep, it's a very simple model, but you do need to do each part of the process the right way if you want to get the very best results. And that's really where everything that we are doing here is going to be enormously beneficial to you, because we're going to make sure that you do everything the right way. An analogy that I've used quite often is, not just for this, but in the past as well, is it's a bit like baking a cake. If you've got all the ingredients, you mix them up, you follow the recipe, and you put them in the oven for 5 minutes. If the recipe asks for 45 minutes, then it's not going to come out, not going to work. And it's the same with this. You have to have the right ingredients. You have to follow the right recipe. You have to have the right tools, do things in the right order. And that is when the magic can start to happen. We are going to be moving fast. You can, if you want to, but you can also go at your own pace. Come along with the training and try to keep pace with us if you can do that. And assuming you stay on target, then the schedule, and this was the date you were talking about there, Steve, February 11th. Sorry. February the 11th, which is just around the corner, a couple of weeks from now, is the target date for the first possible sales. So I'll tell you something else. Now, we've spoken about this beta group that we've used, and of the beta group, over half of the participants in that got a sale on the very first day that they turned the traffic on. Now, Does that
Sure.
mean you're going to get a sale on the first day? No. It's all dependent on the traffic that you're getting. And if on the first
Right.
day you get one visitor, then there's a lower chance you'll get a sale. If on the first day you get 100 visitors, then there's a much higher chance you'll get a sale. But
Yeah.
just for your own peace of mind, that's what we saw. Over half of the small group of beta testers got a sale on the very first day that they turned the traffic on. But again, this is something that you should work at your own pace. And I also want you to understand why we get sales. It's not magic. The sales come as a result of going through the steps and doing things the right way. Now, if you're not getting a sale or if you don't get a sale, the beauty of the system is it's pretty easy to pinpoint where you went wrong. We can use that and we can improve as a result of that. But just so you know, getting sales is just around the corner. I'll let you handle this one, Steve. Sales
Yeah,
tactics.
sure. There's a few of them. So I'm just looking at some of the questions here too. So people are asking, why are we not using Cartsy? Why are we using Shopify? And for those of you who don't know, we do have a shopping cart of our own. We found, and the feedback that we've gotten is that Shopify, in certain instances, and this is one of them, is easier to use as long as you also have ShopX that you get with Omega. So it's all just an effort to, rather than push you into something that's ours, we would rather make sure that you're just going to make sales as fast as possible, and that things are as easy as they possibly can be.
Yeah.
So there you
The
go.
the other thing just to add there is we have worked with Shopify for like over a decade now, and we've got our
Oh
own
yeah.
rep there. And it was a very cost-effective solution because for
Yes.
Shopify, you can get going for $1 per month for the first 3 months.
If
So
if you're in
now,
Omega,
if you're in
not
Omega,
for 3 months anyway. Yeah.
exactly. So 3 months of Shopify will cost you just $3. And
Hmm.
that was one of the biggest things for me because that would be impossible to do that at any other decent
Right.
platform that we sort of looked at. And then the infrastructure that Shopify have got behind the scenes. They've invested hundreds of millions of dollars, publicly traded company, and we can sort of tap into that and almost have our cake and eat it too, because we've been able to develop the ShopX Launchpad, which is the theme that we use with Shopify. So that gives us what we want. But then we tap into the infrastructure and we tap into the rock bottom pricing. So at the end of the day, it was a mixture of things. And we just said, look, if we had to choose something that was the most cost effective and simple for our students, what would it be for this particular model? And we came with Shopify. So there was that one there. So did you want to talk about
Yeah.
the tax?
Yeah. So we have a few slides of people that are of things that people worry about, right? And so I want to kind of just address them just so you don't have to keep worrying about them. So sales tax. It is a fact of life that if you're going to be a retail sales company, then at some point you must start collecting sales tax if you're buying goods wholesale and then selling them retail. The good news is, well, there's two pieces of good news. One is that Shopify just takes care of the whole thing for you. You just press a button, and it collects sales tax, reports on it for you, and all that sort of stuff. This is not I mean, for those of you who don't understand it deeply, don't worry, we'll explain it all. But it's not an expense that you incur. It's, just like when you're shopping in the United States anyway, you pay an extra tax on things that you buy, and the retailer collects that and then just gives it to the appropriate government agency. Now, a couple things though. At first, you're not even going to have to worry about this because, first of all, there's a grace period with you know with most, if not all, tax jurisdictions in the United States, basically saying something along the lines of, "Hey, look, until you sell, 100 grand of products or whatever, don't worry about it." And the other thing is that this only really comes into play later on as you scale your business and worry about getting a reseller certificate and all that sort of stuff. At first, you don't want to deal with any of that stuff. You'll probably end up, and again, don't get distracted by this. We're going to walk through it all with you. You'll probably end up buying your product and you paying the sales tax up front, and you'll bake it into the cost that you sell it for. And in that case, it's fine, because all the government cares about is that somebody pays the sales tax. That's all they care about. And they do not want it to be paid twice. So that's all good. So this is a long way of saying you don't have to worry about this. And when you do, it's fine. This is not an issue. So don't worry. Returns and refunds is another one I get all the time. This goes back to those people who are, I think sometimes. Now, first of all, let me stress, all of these things are reasonable things to just have a concern about and to make sure that they are addressed 100%. However, I think some people start to get like, oh, well, there's going to be returns, so I'm not going to do it. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the fact of life, right? Like, it's just the cost of doing business. So you'll bake that into your costs and your overhead. So it takes care of itself. But I will also tell you that in this model, the returns and refunds percentage is teeny tiny, way, way smaller than it is at like Amazon or something like that. So it's, again, not something that you have to really worry about.
The returns and refunds at the end of the day, they're a good problem to have. I mean, if you sell 100
Yeah.
products and you get
Yeah.
3 refunds, fantastic.
Yeah.
You've ended up selling 97 products, which is
Yeah.
brilliant. And each one of those, who knows how much it could have made you in profit. So the fact that it's all streamlined and there's very little to actually do if you get one of these things, it really is a good problem to have. And I would say cross this bridge when you come to it. We will have training, we'll have guidance showing you. It is very, very simple. In no circumstance are you going to have a product come to your house. We don't do that. We don't touch any of the products. You're not going to be out of pocket for a product either, because when there's a refund, you also get your money back from the supplier. So it's all completely streamlined. And for now, I'll just say it's just a non-issue.
Yep, total non-issue. So the other thing is, people always say, do I need to get a lawyer or an accountant before I begin this business? And I used to say all the time, no, don't worry about it. And I still think it's way premature if you're just starting out. You don't have to worry too much about it. What I would do, though, is I'd go to your local accountant. And I would, just maybe have like one meeting with them. And you don't have to do it before you make sales or anything like that. We don't want anything to get in your way of making your first sales. And there is no scenario where you have to talk to a lawyer or an accountant before you make your first sales. No. But I think it would be prudent during the first couple months, maybe, have a visit with a local accountant that you develop a relationship with and explain the business model that you're doing and explain all the ins and outs. And they'll help you sort of structure things and make sure you're keeping track of the right things, and probably build a spreadsheet for you and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, we're going to do a little bit of that to help you with that, but we can't give accounting or legal advice. So
one thing we do, and we will do in the next couple of weeks, though, and this is more for people in the USA and Canada, we do work with a group who specialize in being able to provide you with assistance and guidance. So if that's of interest, you'll be able to check that out. It doesn't cost anything to check it out and get more information and get some free advice, basically. So we'll do that. But again, honestly, this is something that you can put on the back burner and circle back to once you've got some things up and running.
I'm seeing a lot of questions about, how do you pay the tax if you're not in the US? The answer is you don't, probably. Does the percentage of just a bunch of sales tax questions? Don't worry about it, because Shopify will take care of all of this for you. You'll tell them, hey, I live in Australia and I'm selling these products, and when it's purchased by a person in Phoenix, Arizona, you'll know exactly what to do. because Shopify will just tell you and take care of it all for you. So please don't worry about it.
Yep.
The other thing people worry about is setting up some LLC or big company or corporation. Or again, I would suggest, first of all, there's no need to do that. In the US, we call it a sole proprietor. In the UK, I think it's a sole trader. And there are business entities in most jurisdictions that are just a person, and you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to have special tax returns. You don't have to special. So again, let nothing stand in your way of simply starting to make sales. Okay. Now, the accountant might come back and say, hey, you know what? For you, it makes sense as you're building out your real business. Let's transition you into an LLC, and we'll make that be taxed as a partnership and make your wife or your husband the partner. Sure, those things can happen, but don't worry about it now. Just worry about building the business. And then in parallel, you could be off, sort of figuring that stuff out. And it's not hard. Payment processors. This is another thing that people, stress about. I don't understand where I get paid. Again, another reason to use Shopify. You don't have to worry about this. You'll have it all baked in. Same with people are asking about shipping costs too. And again, that also is all baked into Shopify. So it'll take care of all that for you.
Yep. And a lot of things that we're going over here, guys. I don't want to see it stuck in the worrying about things to come, because
No.
you don't have to worry about any of this stuff right now.
No.
You absolutely don't. I've seen questions about shipping and this and that and the other. You don't have to worry about any of that, because we are going to cover every last thing in detail. Yep. Okay. So we're going to get to all of that. Before we sort of wrap everything up here today, I did want to give a few more bits of information and examples about the system. Maybe open up some web browser, have a bit of a look and a poke around at Vulcan, and share some more examples there. So this is a product, a cat tree, and this is a product that we sold on one of our websites. It was purchased for $132.95. Our cost for this item was $101, and we had a profit there of $30.96. Now, what this doesn't show is anything that we spent on traffic, but I happen to know that with this one here, we were able to get traffic at a good price, and we were able to be able to generate that sale in less than $30 of ad spend. So pretty exciting. But I just wanted to share that with you. Here's another example. And again, one of the reasons I'm showing you this is because I want you to see that any product can basically sell. This is a programming kit sold for $82.95. This one came in, again, this is on a brand new store, and came in just on Sunday. And you can see other sales are coming in sort of pretty much every day, sometimes multiple times per day. Again, brand new store here. A similar kind of a thing. This one had a 37.4% margin on it, $30.99 profit margin on each sale. Again, excluding anything that we would have potentially paid for traffic, which we'll get into, and we'll show you more examples of that as well. Here are some more examples of recent margin on recent sales. So you can see it varies, $72, $86, $56, $41. The good thing is that you can dictate a lot of this when you are selecting the products, and it makes it really simple to do this with Vulcan. Something else you might not be aware of is we can and do sell in multiple markets, not only the USA. So we have our website, but we can sell it to people in a number of different places. I mean, you can sell it to people anywhere in the world. We typically focus on the Western world. So, the USA, obviously, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, sometimes different areas in the Eurozone as well. And this works really well. And so you don't have to limit yourself to just selling in the United States. You can definitely sell in lots of different places. And there's even a case to be made, and we'll talk about this more in the training, that sometimes it can be, you can get a higher return on investment by actually not starting with the United States, but saying, to start with, I'm going to start selling my products to people in Australia. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in the USA, you could be in the UK, you could be in Australia. It doesn't
Right.
matter. That's completely irrelevant. It doesn't change a single thing. And remember, you don't have any inventory at all. Just go straight from the supplier to wherever the customer is. So, there are a lot of different ways that you can approach this. We're going to be guiding you through all of it. If you want to only sell in the United States, you can also do that. And many of the products that are available on AliExpress, which is one potential supplier, actually ship from the USA, not China.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to deal with buying products or importing or anything like that from China for any reason, it could be you just don't want to do anything with China. Could be that you're worried about delays and things like this. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do it. But shipping from China, just so you know, can also be pretty fast. We've tested this out. It's not that we've seen how fast it is, obviously, all over the world. But it used to be that it would take 3-4 weeks for someone to buy a product and get shipped to them. Whereas now you could get it, in 3 or 4 days sometimes to the other side of the world, even if it's shipped from China. So it's a massive opportunity. And I also want you to keep in mind that I said this a moment ago, but the USA is one amazing marketplace, but the rest of the world is also, there are dozens of incredible marketplaces, and any one of them could be massive for you. In fact, you'll hear from our head coach, Vaughan. I mean, a lot of his business is just in Australia, and he's done millions and millions in sales. So I just wanted to share that with you a little bit here. I've got some screenshots here from Vulcan, and then I can jump across to the web and do a couple more examples. We are pretty much at the end now, and we'll wrap this up shortly. But I was browsing around Vulcan, and I saw this appliance. I think it's a washing machine or something like that. I think it's even like a portable one. So I had a look at it. And it might be a little bit hard to see there, but the current price on Amazon is $339.99. This is an example of a product that is already in the United States. So it's actually the supplier is someone who is on AliExpress, and where they are, I don't actually know, but I mean, I could find out easily enough. But that product is already in the United States. So if I sell this on my website, I can probably deliver it to the customer can get it within a couple of days because it's already in the United States. So I thought I would share that with you. And I did actually
just one thing on that. One thing that as we developed Vulcan, one thing that shocked me, surprised me anyway, is, for those of you who sort of understand how Vulcan works, we start with what I call seed products, which are looking at the hundreds of thousands.
I don't think many people know how Vulcan works yet, Steve.
Right. Well, maybe just to share, we start with what I call seed products, and those are the products that are the best sellers on places like Amazon and Walmart and eBay even, and all that kind of stuff. There are hundreds of thousands of them. And the key about these seed products is that we know that they sell, right? We know there's huge demand. We know there's huge turnover. These are products that everybody wants and people are buying. It's the best intelligence one could ever have. So then what you need to do, what Vulcan does, is it takes that seed product and it uses sophisticated AI, and it says, hey, let me see if I can find that product and or similar products that are available for us to be able to drop ship. We don't want to sell on Amazon. They're, right now they're a pain in the ass, and we don't want to deal with that. And we don't want to buy the inventory up front. This model is drop shipping. So let me take the seed product and let me see if I can find that exact product and or similar products. Now, going into this, my assumption was that most of the time we would be finding similar products. But surprisingly, and maybe shouldn't be surprised, almost, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what percentage of the time, but many, many, many times we find the exact product. In fact, it's the same silly picture that's being used on Amazon as it is on either AliExpress or CJ Dropshipping or Walmart or whatever. It's crazy. The global economy is so small now that these are the same products, you know, which is great because we've got a product that sells for $100 on Amazon all day long. We know it's a huge bestseller, and here we found the exact same thing in a warehouse from AliExpress in the United States through Vulcan that we can buy for $30. I mean, that's the
We're actually
model.
into an example of that in just a second here, Steve.
I mean, like that's it right there, in a nutshell. But what hasn't happened before this, right, is this combination of what this perfect storm analogy that I use way too often of having like AI and maturity in these analysis tools and maturity in the partners with the ability to have APIs into their different metrics like Amazon and Keepa and Walmart and eBay and stuff like that. So, it's all come together so that we can, instead of spending hours and hours finding a product that we're not even sure is going to sell. I think Aiden, you timed yourself the other night and it took you 1 minute and 40 seconds to find a really good product,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, what I wanted to share with people here, if I can get my screen going again.
Keith asked, do any of these products have a MAP policy, a minimum advertised price or minimum retail price or all that kind of stuff? Most of them do not, actually. Most of them do not.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm inside of Vulcan here. Just for an example, I've come to show you a product which I found in industrial and scientific. You see lots of different categories here. And I was scrolling through and just having a look around and just give this a chance to load. And I keep coming down, I'm looking at products, and this is not meant to be a demo video of Vulcan, by the way. It's just to sort of pique your curiosity a bit here and talk about specifically what Steve was saying. So I come down here and I'm keeping on looking, and then this thing here jumps out at me. This nebulizer, which I can see the current price is $69.99. If I can find potential suppliers, I'll see that
this is where the seed product is then going out and using AI to try to find the exact product or something that's similar to it.
Yeah. And you will sometimes get a mixture of results. Like right here, the very first one is identical. It's actually identical.
Yeah.
And there are other things in here that I don't know what, why, but sometimes machine learning, the AI is capable of making mistakes. But anyway, this one here is the exact same one. So if I click Analyze Product here, we'll just have a look at this.
Yeah, sometimes the AI does its own thing.
So this one here is the exact same product. I can actually see this on Amazon. Open this up on Amazon. Have a look at it. And this says it's selling for $69.99 on Amazon. That is not 100% bulletproof. That can change because Amazon prices change all the time. This is actually $69.99. So again, it's identical. Absolutely identical. Another thing that might not be able to see here, but I might be able to make it show is this is doing a crap ton of sales. Absolute crap ton of sales. We can see it here. I don't know if I missed that, but hundreds of thousands of dollars in monthly revenue. And you don't have to worry about that because again, we are not selling on Amazon. But I think it's pretty interesting to know that this is a product that we know is a bestseller. It's in Vulcan. We've got the information. And where it gets really interesting is where we can actually get this for, I think it was $21. We could buy this thing for $21 if we wanted to. And this is an example of exactly how we can do it. My page is not loading here. Come on, yeah. So $20 and $20.94. Okay. Now, the other part of this that I wanted to share with you is this screen here. See if that works. So what I've done just prior to this workshop was I went to Google, I did a search, and I had a look for digital nebulizer machine. Okay. Now we can see the exact product. See if I can draw on here. We can see the exact same product is here. Okay. And it's selling for $69. Remember, we can get this for $20.94. And here we can see the exact same one is already selling for $69. That's actually been sucked in by Amazon's product feed's been sucked in. But the other interesting thing, in fact, more interesting, is the cheapest nebulizer that I'm actually seeing here is $49. And it looks like that one's actually on sale at the moment. So it's probably not permanently $49. But even if it were, we can acquire our nebulizer for $20. Okay. So that gives us margin to play with. And this is the kind of thing that we see over and over and over again. Now, even if I couldn't find the exact same nebulizer inside of Vulcan, it wouldn't matter. What we're trying to do here is validate that, yes, there is demand. Yes, the pricing point works. Yes, we've got suppliers. And I can then add that to my shop and away I go. So it really is quite incredible here, and something that I wanted to just take a moment to walk you through a bit of an example. And again, this is not the way that you will necessarily use Vulcan. This is not the way that you will necessarily proceed with this strategy, for example.
Yep.
But I wanted to at least show you some of the things that you can do with it, and why it's so powerful, and it was impossible to even do this kind of a thing and match up a product with a supplier using AI technology even just 6 months ago. So it really is cutting edge. Getting back to just some housekeeping, we do have contests coming, gamification, all kinds of different things that we're going to be doing to make sure you can have fun with this. And some final action items here today. So sign up for Module 1 and watch the intro videos that I've filmed. Please be patient. We know that you want to get going, but we are days away, from being able for you to sort of really hit the ground running. And just a couple of weeks, you're going to be in a position where you could potentially get your first sale coming in, and then it's onwards and upwards from there. So very, very exciting. So I think we can do a few questions here. I would like to keep them to housekeeping if we can, and try to keep them to how the system's going to work. I don't want to get into the technical stuff of, well, how do I do shipping or things that are specific to the model, because we're going to be covering those in the training, and it's just more effective for us to deal with those in the training. So anyway, that was a bit of an overview here today, guys. Again, not designed to give you a lot of the how-tos, but rather to give you a lot of the housekeeping. Okay, so Steve,
there were a lot of questions worried about shipping. And so just want to address that real quick. Somebody's also asking what a pass-through, because I answered that it's a pass. Look, if whatever the shipping costs are, right, you are going to charge that to the customer. So that's what I mean by a pass-through. And and there's all sorts of different ways you can do that. You could inflate the price you wanted to charge and say free shipping, or you could actually put in the exact shipping, and all of that's handled in Shopify when you put that in there. So don't worry about it. And people are asking, well, could you charge less than what Amazon's charging? Of course, you can charge whatever you like. That's the beauty of this. And we're gonna teach you all that. So don't worry about that.
I saw someone there saying, what if there's a war with China? Guys, this is a great example. What if there is a war with China?
Oh my God.
I think that
then we have bigger problems.
Yeah, we may have bigger problems if that happens. And same with a lot of questions around tariffs and stuff like this. They're all great questions, but we're going to take them in due course. China is not the only source of products, by the way. I want to make that clear. So we will be covering all of that, but we're going to cover it in due course. And I'm not going to worry about things that are still weeks away, because we're just getting started. We're laying a foundation. We're getting everything set up so that you can start to scale the business and grow consistent sales. And we're going to do that one baby step at a time. And that's how we're going to run with it, because that's what we've found, works best. Okay. So
also just
what
be
else we
aware
do?
that Aiden is in New Zealand right now. And so you might see some crazy shipping costs from like AliExpress and stuff. And that
Yeah.
is because he's in New Zealand, which,
Yeah. I should have
to
mentioned
try
that.
and get anything shipped to New Zealand is
Yeah.
a struggle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so don't worry about
Absolutely.
it, particularly if it's sitting in a US warehouse.
Yes. It would
So,
be even more expensive. So
yeah.
yeah.
There
Okay.
was some folks who were asking, if I could just take 1 second, about the Buyers Club and and eFormula and how this all works together. It works together wonderfully. Um, if you can't tell, we've sort of pivoted over the last couple of years towards the biggest problem that we're trying to solve for folks is product availability and finding products and all that kind of stuff. And there are tons of pros and to drop shipping. And there are pros to the more traditional route as well, which is buying inventory up front, and storing in a warehouse and selling it on the same exact platforms and in the same exact way or different ways. So for example, you can sell on Amazon, whereas when you're drop shipping, you're not really able to sell on Amazon. And so these are complementary models. They work very, very well together. And so, yes, if you have a Shopify store that you've built for Omega and you have dropship products on there, as we're teaching you, and you also want to put your Buyers Club products that are the traditional route, you own them, you buy them, you have them in the warehouse, you can absolutely do that. Yep. And all the strategies, everything all works for both. Yep.
Yeah, and for those of you who are saying, "Well, what's the Buyers Club?" Don't worry, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's something
No.
that some people, through one of our past programs, have got access to. It's not something you need
No.
to be able to do a mega project, but it's just something
Well,
that
it's a just subtly different model because
right.
it's not drop shipping. So,
Yeah,
it's different. So don't
yeah,
worry.
exactly. Okay, guys. Well, there have been lots and lots of questions coming in, but like I say, I think most of the ones I'm seeing are very tactical in nature and probably going to be linked to things that we're going to be covering. I don't know if you
Yeah.
feel the same way there, Steve. I did
Yeah,
want
pretty much. I
to.
mean, there were a lot of little things. So, but we can, if you have a burning question, then you can ask support.
Yeah.
But be confident that all these questions will be answered as we go through the training. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that are worried about time zones and things like that, we are going to work to make sure that things can be
yeah,
done at different time zones. We know that we've got people coming in from all over the world. And, like most of the time, if I'm in Argentina, Steve is in the United States, Vaughan, our head coach, is in Australia. Already there, we've got 3 different time zones. And people in Europe as well. So yeah, we're going to make sure that that's not an issue. And you'll always have an opportunity to join in live in the office hours sessions or live weekly
yeah.
workshops or whatever it may be. And everything will be always in the members area. So, guys, we are going to wrap this up now. As Steve mentioned, if you do have a burning question that you urgently need an answer to, then you can email us at support. I'll go back up to the slide where we sort of showcase where all the
While you're
support
showcasing that, if I could
avenues
just
are.
answer one quick question, because I do think this is on everybody's mind, because I've seen it a
Yep.
few times. People are very concerned about the potential tariff. People are with China goods. People are throwing around numbers of 10%, 25%, and won't that eat away all our profits and everything? First of all, there's a lot to unpack there, but really quickly, over 30% of all goods in the whole world that are sold in the whole world are made in China. Over 30%. So, there's no getting away from it, and so so in other words, to get into bed with buying goods that are manufactured in China, well, welcome to the rest of the world. 30% of all products sold are made in China today, period. More than that. So it doesn't really matter what happens with tariffs. if the price of everything goes up 10%, then the price that, and this is something that Trump struggles to understand as well, then China doesn't pay that. Who pays that? The consumer. If all of a sudden prices go up 10%, then retail prices will go up 10%. That's how capitalism works. So, no, we all need to be aware of what's going on, but we have no idea what's going to happen. If nothing else, the new administration is unpredictable in nature. So we have no idea what's going to happen with tariffs. And even if the worst thing happens, everybody's just going to roll with it because that's just what you have to do. And it's not going to negate this model. And all of a sudden, 30% of the goods that are being sold in the world are not going to disappear.
And oh, by the way, as I said earlier, the USA is one marketplace. Our head coach does
well, that's right.
hundreds of thousands of sales a year in a completely different, much smaller marketplace, which is Australia. So we've got a whole smorgasbord of opportunities with regards to where we sell the products, where we source the products from, who our target audiences are, the margins that we choose to put on the products, because oh, by the way, we actually control that. We don't have to bow down to Amazon or anyone else. We don't have to match Amazon's prices. A lot of the time, we sell products at prices that are higher than Amazon. So all of these things are really good news for us. It means that whatever anything happens with tariffs, tax, whatever it might be, we've still got plenty of ace cards up our sleeves. And personally, I don't lose any sleep thinking about that, because I know that there are so many opportunities here, so many different ways to sort of play our hand, that it's incredible. And I wouldn't be able to say that if it was a different business model, but we do have a lot of flexibility here. Okay, guys. So on that note, we're going to wrap up. We'll get this in the members area and probably in the next couple of hours. And look forward to talking to everyone very soon. You can reach out to us at support if you need anything. See the different support links on the page here. They're in the members area. And look forward to talking to everyone soon. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.